Okay. So I was in the room. Oh, yes, I'm in the room. Okay. Okay, hi, Zoom people. We'll be right with you. You can shut off the TV. I'm calling Kathy. And hopefully all goes well. Revelation 14, verse 12, it says, "Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep." Hello. Hello. I put you in Messenger room. Yes, I do have Zoom going.
I couldn't get my Zoom today.
Oh, well.
I uninstalled it and reinstalled it, before when I had the problem, but it didn't work this time. I don't know what's going on with that.
Super slow tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, it's on. So,
Good.
if people want to join that way, okay, let's see. Call and invite. Oh.
I'm still here.
Yeah, it's telling me to call invited friends. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay, can you shut off Pastor Mark there, honey? We're listening to Mark Finley. He's a very good speaker. I like his style of preaching.
Yes, I like Mark Finley too.
Yeah. It's like, okay, so he's preaching along a sermon, and he'll always do this 3-point thing. That's his usual style. Anyways, hope all is well with you. And here's Les.
All right.
Last Sabbath we started chapter 6 of Call to Medical Evangelism. We continue it tonight, and we'll finish it up Sabbath night. Ruth, you want to start with prayer?
Sure. Dear Jesus, thank you for another gift from you, another rest day. Please help us to spread your love and be your examples. Amen.
Amen.
Gospel workers should be able also to give instruction in principles of healthful living. There is sickness everywhere, and most of it might be prevented by attention to the laws of health. The people need to see the bearing of health principles upon their well-being, both for this life and for the life to come. Thousands need and would gladly receive instruction concerning the simple methods of treating the sick, methods that are taking the place of the use of poisonous drugs.
Wow.
Remember back in the era that she wrote it,
their drugs
drug
really
was
poisonous.
considered to be, one of the drugs was considered to be strychnine.
Talk about poisonous drugs.
Oh.
There is great need of instruction in regard to dietetic reform. Wrong habits of eating and the use of unfelt healthful food are in no small degree responsible for the intemperance and crime and wretchedness that curse the world. In teaching health principles, keep before the mind the great object of reform, that its purpose is to secure the highest development of body and mind and soul. First song.
290. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Okay. Oh, fool, are you weary?
In the darkness,
there's light for a look at the Savior. and life more abundant.
Life more abundant.
Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in His wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of His glory and grace. Through life down into life forever.
Last verse, I guess.
Why not?
Okay, second verse.
Through death into life everlasting, He paused and we follow Him there. For us for more than conquerors our Lord. Turn your eyes upon Jesus, look full in His wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strange in the light of His glory and grace. His word shall not fail you, He promised. Believe Him and all will be well. Then go to all that is dying, His perfect salvation to tell. Turn your eyes upon Jesus, look full in His wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of His glory and grace. Whew. All are bound by the most sacred obligations to God to heed the sound philosophy and genuine experience which He is now giving them in the reference to health reform. He decides that the great subject of health reform shall be agitated and the public mind deeply stirred to investigate, for it is impossible for men and women, with all their sinful, health-destroying, brain-spreading habits, to discern sacred truth, through which they are to be sanctified, refined, elevated, and made fit for society of heavenly angels in the kingdom of glory. Next song.
369, bringing in the sheaves.
I can speak louder if I yell. If you want me to yell.
369. Sowing in the morning, sowing seeds of kindness, sowing in the noontime, waiting for the harvest and the time of reaping. We shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves. We shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves. We shall come rejoicing,
cheerily breathe. By and by the harvest and the time of reaping shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves. We shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves. We shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheaves. Going forth to weeping, going for the Master, though the losses they are staring up when the reaping's over, we will build us welcome. We shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves. We shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves. We shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheaves. There. I don't want to read. I'll get too tired. You're fine. No. You're fine. The Lord has presented before me that many will be rescued from physical, mental, and moral degeneracy through the practical influence of health reform. Health talks will be given. Publications will be multiplied. The principles of health reform will be enlightened. The influences that are associated with health reform will commend it to the judgment of all who want life, and they will advance step by step to receive the special truths for this time. Thus, truth and righteousness will meet together. Next song. Far and near, the fields are teeming. 558. That's why we want to give the health reform message.
Yeah.
Far and near, the fields are teeming with the sheep of ripe. Sounded like you said 358, sorry. Far and near, their gold is gleaming on the sunny slopes and plains. Lord of harvest and reaper, hear the Lord we cry, send them now the sheep gather, bear the harvest time. Send them forth with morn's first beaming, send them in the season. When the sun's last rays are streaming, bid them gather.
Lord of harvest and first reapers, hear us, Lord,
we cry. Send now the sheep together, and the harvest time pass by. Oh, thou whom thy Lord is sending, gather now, some shades of gold, heavenward then, that evening landing, shall come with joy untold. Lord of harvest
and first reapers, hear us,
we cry. Send them now the
the fields together,
ere the
where
harvest time
time
pass by.
So closely is health related to our happiness that we cannot have latter without the former.
Mm,
A
that's
practical knowledge of science of human life is necessary in order to glorify God in our bodies. It is therefore of the highest importance that among the studies selected for childhood, physiology should occupy the first place.
Well, see, my mother did that right.
How few know anything about the structure and functions of their own bodies and of nature's laws.
Yeah.
Many are drifting about without knowledge, like a ship
So true.
at sea without compass or anchor. And what is more, they are not interested to learn how to keep their bodies in healthy condition and prevent disease.
Uh-huh.
Next song.
Oh, I don't know. Well, this is all about health, and I really don't have songs about health. Oh, well. I suppose these songs fit because we need to use them in our evangelism with the health message. Except I do divert. I saw a song in here I want to sing. 388. Don't forget the Sabbath. That's a song I could hear in my head for quite a long time. Dad used to love to sing this song Friday night worship. Anyways. Don't forget the Sabbath,
the Lord our God hath blessed. All the week, the brightest of all the week, the best.
It brings people from labor. It tells of joy divine. Leaves of light descending
with heavenly beauty.
Welcome, welcome,
Welcome,
welcome, blessed Sabbath day. Welcome, welcome,
and
ever,
ever welcome,
blessed
blessed
Sabbath day. Keep the Sabbath holy and worship today. Who
who
said
said
to
to
his
his
disciples,
disciples,
I am
I am
the
the
living
living
bread.
bread,
And
and
if
if
we
we weekly
fall, our
fall,
Savior
will
will
be
behold.
whole.
It was
Again
of the
of the
fountain, the
fountain,
streams
they
eternal
come.
flow. Welcome,
Welcome,
welcome, ever,
ever
welcome,
welcome,
blessed
blessed
Sabbath
Sabbath
day.
day.
Welcome,
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 and
ever,
ever
welcome,
welcome,
blessed
blessed
Sabbath
Sabbath
day.
day.
Day of sacred
Sacred
pleasure, its
pleasure, its
golden hours were
golden hours were
spent.
spent,
Thankful
and
hymns
thankful
to
hymns to
Jesus, the
Jesus,
children's
the
dearest
children's
friend.
dearest
No
friend.
gentle, loving Savior, how
How
good and
good and
kind thou
kind
art. All praises is the
the
promise
promise
to
to
dwell in
dwell in
every
every heart.
heart. Welcome,
Welcome,
welcome, ever welcome,
welcome,
blessed
it's
Sabbath
Sabbath.
day. Welcome,
Welcome,
welcome, ever
ever welcome,
welcome,
blessed
blessed
Sabbath
Sabbath day.
day.
Satan is constantly urging men to accept his principles and thus he is seeking to counterwork the work of God. He is constantly representing the chosen people of God as a deluded people. He is an accuser of the brethren,
yes, he is.
and his accusing power he is constantly using against those who work righteousness. The Lord desires, through his people, to answer Satan's charges by showing the result of obedience to right principles. He desires our health institutions to stand as witnesses for the truth. They are to give character to the work which must be carried forward in these last days in restoring man through a reformation of the habits, appetites, and passions. Seventh-day Adventists are to be represented to the world by the advanced principles of health reform which God has given us. Last song.
This is what we should be doing. 371. Lift him up. Lift him up, 'tis he that gives you. Let the dying look and live. To a weary, thirsting
Thirsting
sinner,
sinner,
Living water
will he give,
and
and
the
the
ones
water
who
can slowly
get the
take
bliss
the
of
blood
him was
you
seen, and the blind who grope in darkness through the blood of Christ shall see. Lift him up, the risen Savior, I am in the waiting throne. Lift him up, 'tis he that speaketh, now he bids free from wrong. Lift him up, this precious Savior, let the multitudes behold. They are willing, hearts shall seek him, he will draw them to his fold. They shall gather from the wayside, hasten on with joyous lead. They shall bear the cross of Jesus, and shall find salvation sweet. Lift him up, the risen Savior, I am in the waiting throne. Lift him up, 'tis he that speaketh, now he gives you free from wrong. Lift him up in all his glory, he's the Son of God on high. Lift him up, his love shall grow them, even as heaven high. Let them hear again the story of the cross, the death and shame, and from tongue to tongue repeat it. Mighty tongue shall bless his name. Lift him up, the risen Savior, I am in the waiting throne. Lift him up, 'tis he that speaketh, now he bids you free from wrong. So then lift him up in singing, lift the Savior up in praise. He the glorious Redeemer, all the sins of men take Yes, the young shall bow before him, and the old their voices raise. All the deaf shall hear Hosanna, and the dumb shall shout his name. Lift him up, the risen Savior. I am in the waiting throne. Lift him up, his Jesus region. Now he bids free from wrong. Tomorrow night we start out with the subject education better than miraculous healing.
Wow.
Then we move on to when prayer for healing is presumption.
Mm.
Sounds like a few good topics. Instruction in diet by evangelistic workers, a knowledge of healthful cookery,
That's why we should have cooking schools.
simplicity in cooking, and decision without narrow conceit we end up on. Ruth, you want to offer closing prayer?
Sure. Dear Jesus, thank you for this Sabbath day. Please watch over us and may we be your children and shine your love abroad. Amen.
Amen. Well, thank you very much for worship, and
you're welcome.
have a good Sabbath, and I'll try to